Okay, so again here, market internals is they're showing trending down, but it's barely. They could come down for a couple of candles, but they're starting to swing back up again. This is likely to switch back to blue here. And my market just kind of very, very, very flat here right now, just moving sideways. Again, we're right up against on the SPY, pretty close to resistance level at 660.20. Well, 660.27 we went through. 661.72 is the next one. Pepsi just kind of moving, chopping her sideways as well and holding on to it. Ram Kumar, if SPY never touched SPY, what? Wouldn't that be bullish too, since funds came and scooped it before that? If SPY never touched, I don't know what that means, Ram Kumar. If SPY never touched SPY, I mean SPY never touched the SMA. And the 50, yeah, but see, here's the thing: when it comes down near the 50-day and it misses it, and then bounces, you haven't really got a test. And it's so close to that 50 that's what you think a lot of times. Okay, it's close enough. It's not. It didn't test it. I've been through this many times, and then it ends up coming back and touching it and then bouncing. But maybe this time it won't bounce, and it could take a long time before it goes back down and tests it. So we'll see. Is Pepsi still coming back down a little bit here? SPY just moving sideways. I'm moving up toward the pivot point now. Again, I'm still in my Pepsi trade. I'm going to stay in the Pepsi trade, likely through the day, just because of the setup. I watched the daily on it, but I'm going to stay in this thing. We'll see where it goes. If I get it run up to around 153, or so, I probably will take it off.
A tweet out there by Anthropic says we're expanding our partnership with Salesforce.
SPY moving back up toward the pivot point. Got the pivot point there. Pivot point is pretty close to the gap fill, right up here. So that's going to be a fairly significant level right there as it nears a gap fill. Market internals back to bullish again. Not as bullish as yesterday, but they're definitely bullish, and they're getting more bullish right now as the SPY moves up. The SPY just down 0.17% right now. Q's down about 0.5%. IWM green by almost 0.5%. Again, IWM outperforming the rest of the indexes. Right at resistance. We're talking about tariffs going on here. They could go on sooner. We could have a deal. Listen, this is just a bunch of rhetoric coming back and forth from one country to another. The market apparently seems to have said, "Yeah, sure, we're going to keep going up." IWM again outperforming the SPY here. It is right at resistance. 245.57 is resistance on the IWM. Otherwise, I'd be taking some calls on it right now. The SPY coming close to the pivot point, so a lot of resistance right now overhead on the indexes. Let's see what Pepsi's doing. Pepsi's not trying to bounce. Still hasn't got back above the VWAP yet. It's actually showing a little bit of relative weakness, but I'm sticking with it. ABBV pulling back today. GLW doing pretty good. It's back up above the 8 exponential moving average. ABBV will just watch. It's right around the 15 right now. Okay, see if we get any questions here. Coming up on 11:51. 11:51. Hey, Marilyn. JOBY, very high volume yesterday, but the price didn't move up. What would that mean? Generally, that means the buyers and sellers are pretty much paired off. You notice on JOBY, I mean, this has been an interesting stock as far as the price is concerned. It's been nice move up, big move down. Nice move up, big gap down. And it's trying to recover here. Notice it went right to the 50-day moving average today. But yesterday, you see the big volume. See the big volume here. Those are not big moves. Those are small moves. So you've got some paired off buyers and sellers right here. Notice the 8 exponential is holding firm here as far as resistance is concerned. And the same thing today. So again, I'm not touching this. We do have a gap here. We do have a gap up above, right here. Take a little bit of gap fill that it could get into, but there's a lot of resistance levels up in there. So not something that I'm going to take any position in right now. Took 30 cents on the SPY. Good job, Terry. Yeah, nice job. Took 30 cents. And it went right to the pivot point. We'll see if it gets through there or not. But that was a nice trade. Notice it went selling to buying right there as it both moved up through the 15 right there. I assume that's where he took it right there, and did a nice job on that. SPY right here at the pivot. Whoops. SPY right at the pivot point now. See what happens here. AQMS. The metals. American batteries. These are all related to the rare earths. There's Mara that Ari was talking about. That's a crypto stock. Got good relative strength today. Oscar, nice move up, sideways move right now. Roblex looking good after compression and popping out. Thank you, Ari. Yeah, we looked at that one here this morning a little earlier. Nice big move here on Roblex this morning. Getting room up here at 141.28. Pretty big candle here. Pretty big move up above the 8 as well. 8's at 130. Stock trade at 137. $7 up. Got about $6. A little more than one ATR extended. It's a pretty big move here today. It's a SPY right at the pivot point. Ain't blah blah. But today would be a good day to look for swings, or would you wait for SPY to close above the EMAs? I definitely would wait for it to close above the EMAs. I don't have a lot of confidence in the SPY right now in the market. This is tariff news that's doing this stuff. Tariff news today. Then now maybe they got us meeting with China scheduled. Who knows? I mean, who knows? But it's bouncing up. But this, as I said yesterday, it's got to get above the 8 and the 15 before I would be bullish on the market. And that doesn't mean you can't take some swing trades if you want to. And Caterpillar is a beautiful swing trade. And there's quite a few swing trades out there that look pretty nice. Again, I like the GLW we took yesterday. It looks good. ABBV not looking too good today, but still, if it closes above the 15, I'm not worried about it. So those look pretty nice. Again, I exited some of my Newmont mining today. I've still got a little bit left. And but yeah, there's some good stocks. I'm basically just making up lists of stocks that I might be interested to go long once I feel more comfortable in the market. But if we look at the market internals, you see the market internals today have been pretty nice. And here they are from this morning. Again, they pulled down this morning. You see they've been moving up, with jigs and jags, but still pretty nice right now. Market's kind of following it, but this is still showing some bullishness in the market internals. And a lot of that's IWM. IWM is very strong today. IWM with a pretty big move up today, 0.5% considering what the rest of the stocks are doing. Walmart, like I said, well, listen, Walmart today, the Walmart move is not related to tariffs. The Walmart move is they've partnered up with OpenAI. That's what caused this gap up in Walmart today. SPY right to the VWAP. AQST still looks good, Ari. Thank you. Ari keeps us up on these healthcare and biotechs. AQST is a very nice chart. Beautiful, beautiful daily chart. Right up here, get a little extended, move sideways, start to move back up again. A lot of you can see that it gets extended. You see what it does: extended, boom, extended, boom. But right now, it's just kind of moving up nicely here. That's why when you see these shooting stars, what's called a shooting star, basically a big move up and then a big wick on the candlestick at the recent highs. That's an indication that there's likely to be some selling coming in right here.
Announced strategic partnership to secure digital asset treasury holdings. That's on SBLX.
Caterpillar getting, this is a pretty big candle today. I would wait for a pullback, and I think it's up almost 4%. Early today was a beautiful entry on it, but right now it's getting a little extended. And the SPY is running right into resistance here. Caterpillar just keeps on going, but hard to chase here. Watching again, still in Pepsi, is finally bounced up back up above the VWAP. Mara's still going. Nice move in Mara. Bitcoin is helping now, Ari. Okay, thank you. Yeah, Bitcoin pushing some of these stocks up. Yeah, coin's bouncing a little bit. Still down pretty hard for the day. iBit also down pretty hard for the day. But Mara outperforming these things by quite a lot right now. Market internal starting to flip back to a little bit weak. We'll just see this just for this candle. Newmont just popped. I just took profits in the rest of my Newmont position. So I'm out of my Newmont swings that I added to yesterday. I'm out of all of those. Pretty nice profit in those. Thanks, Terry. Terry Owens said Gesundheit, Ruth.
Oh my God. That's embarrassing. Not really.
Thanks, Shai. Shai said to bless you.
Oh,
Yep, she had quite a sneeze out there just a little while ago.
Gesundheit.
Doing some remote work over there, and you heard, I know. I can tell. You did, Shai. My dog's been pretty quiet today, though. I think everybody heard the sneeze. Yeah, this the mic guy gets pretty good for picking up noise in the distance. Okay, so I'm out of Newmont. I'm out of my Newmont trade. I had added to it yesterday. I took profits in some of those this morning, and I just took the rest of them off on this bounce up here on Newmont. They expired this week, so I'm not going to hold them any longer. Yeah, that's right, Shy. Alfie's quiet. Chewy is stuck between two SMAs. You scare your cavapoo with your with your sneeze, Rip Kumar. Oh man. All right, it's 12:06 here. And just watching again, I'm not chasing Caterpillar. It's a beautiful setup, but I can't chase it way up here. And I'm still in Pepsi, which is starting to bounce up a little bit here now. Again, we'll see where it goes. Again, I took a pretty large position in Pepsi. This is a doji sandwich setup that I'm trading. To complete the doji sandwich today, it would have to go to, let's see, 145 to 150, $6. It would have to go to 154. I don't think it'll get that far today. I get up around 152.50, I'll be out. The consumer defensive stocks are starting to sell off now as the market goes to a risk on. General Mills now down about 1%. Mara's still looking good here. Does have some resistance at Friday's high. 22.06. Walmart's still going strong. Up about 3.6% today. David Wyse showing some strength as well. It was called out a little bit earlier by one of the members as it moved up above the 8, moving up toward a gap fill. pretty nice move today, but again, very difficult to try to swing. Airlines all strong today. United Airlines up. Southwest up 3.6%. Spy right to the pivot point, pulling back toward the 15 here right now. Kind of wedged in between all these support and resistance levels here. Can't find any stocks to do time spreads on overnight tonight. You don't have again, we don't have enough implied volatility difference between this week and next week. Market internal starting to flip back to bullish again after pulling down for about 15 minutes or so.
Remember, Members, keep in mind, Fed Chair Powell is scheduled to speak at 12:20 p.m. Eastern Time.
SPY coming back up toward the pivot point again. Pivot point sitting right there. A little after 12.
Comments out by Fed Chair Powell says future path to monetary policy driven by data risk assessments. Data before U.S. government shutdown suggested growth may be better than expected. Right now, there is no risk-free path for monetary policy.
This is what Powell's saying. Future path of monetary policy driven by data, risk assessments. Data before U.S. government shutdown suggested growth may be better than expected. Right now, there is no risk-free path for monetary policy.
Rising risk and job market justified September interest rate cut. Available data showed tariff pushing up price pressures.
It says the downside risk to the U.S. job market has risen. The data in hand suggests current economy is where it was in September. Rising risk to the job market justified September interest rate cut. Available data showed tariff pushing up price pressures. Okay, so that's some of the stuff that Powell's saying as the SPY gets above the VWAP here. Pepsi recovering somewhat, but not enough yet. SPY back above the pivot point. Going green for the day on the SPY.
Members posted in the news status is the speech by Fed Powell titled Understanding the Fed's Balance Sheet.
SPY's moving up, Q's moving up, IWM moving up, market internals are moving up. Uh, Definitely bullish trend in the market right now. This is going to switch here very quickly back to blue. Next resistance in the SPY is 664.89. 664.89. $673.95 is all-time high on the SPY. We beat the Friday. We beat the before that the tariff news. We beat the all-time high by a penny. SPY's coming right up on the 15 EMA right now. Triple Q's also. A lot of resistance here. SPY pretty much right on the 15 EMA right now. SPY, the 15 EMA on the SPY is 664.37. 664.37 plus we got a resistance level of 664.89. So we're running up against resistance here. I'm not going to take it for that reason, but it's a pretty nice pop here off of the above the 15 on this pullback. But pivot point was in the way, so I'm not touching it. Triple Q is also above the pivot point now. Again, IWM very strong today. Russell 2000 still going up. Rim Kamar, you hope the shadow of GNRC doesn't fall on ABVV. You know, the these dark clouds that you send out on these kind of things. You know, there's no reason to think that it's going to, and I don't even why. Again, we're looking at the daily chart. It's sitting right on the 15. I don't see any reason to be casting doubt on the trade. Elias, could I explain the doji sandwich and the way should be trading and managing it? Yep. Just a sec. William, out of $1.40 profit on SOUN. Nice job. Doug, seems like the VOLD is lagging. Well, it depends. I mean, if you it obviously is gonna lag a little bit because it takes a candle or two to reverse and to go back up again. I'm just watching it on the T2104 on TC2000, and that's showing every little move up and down. This is actually looking at the momentum index on it, so that takes a bit to shift. Hey, Rim Kamash, Shai says, have a shot of his whiskey and chill out. XLV is red today. Obviously, ABBV doesn't look amazing. No, and again, the you know, this is trading. The healthcare sector is not doing great today, so ABBV is not rallying with this market right now. But it also didn't fall with the market on last Friday. So I mean, it kind of trades kind of much on its own. So again, I don't see any reason to be thinking badly about the trade or negative about the trade. You know, you look at the chart, and the chart looks good. So, and you know, an interesting thing here. You know, when you talk, Ram, come on, when you're talking about the shadow of GNRC. So you're thinking back again. This is where your mind is can really hurt you, in that you remember the bad trades way more than you remember the good trades. That's why you need a sort of 75% win rate to get your confidence in trading up. GNRC was one that went against us, and it's still stuck in your mind. In other words, that had a dramatic impact on your mind as far as trading is concerned, which means it's now weighing on your you're looking at current trades that we have, and you got to forget, you've got to let those things go. Remembering the bad trades just is not going to help. Now it is human nature to do that. Your mind will do that. It'll remember them and magnify the losses and minimize the gains, which puts you in a negative spot, which means that's why you need to have about a 75% win rate or higher to develop confidence in your trades, because those negative things are back in there. But the fact that you mentioned that, it shows me that's still in your mind. If you hadn't mentioned that, I wouldn't even remembered it. You understand losing is part of the game. I know you're a blackjack player and have punched in the stomach 40 times in blackjack. But what I'm saying is, you remember those things, and that's why your win rate needs to be really, really high, 75% or higher, to offset those. But try not to look at ABBV and say, oh my God, what happens if this goes like GNRC? It's completely counterproductive to do that. Yeah, and Joe points out, Joe of the Discord room points out something for what Doug had said about the VOLD is lagging. The point is here, and he said this, I'll read it to you. Ideally, market internals are meant to give context to the trader for clarity for trending versus choppy days, which is exactly what it's doing, right? It's not a bar for bar analysis. They're useful for day trading, but lagging is not a critical issue, and that's exactly right. When I look at the T2104 and DC2000, I'm not I'm telling you that it's going down, going up, but I'm looking at the overall trend, and that's what we're trying to find here, is an overall trend which is bullish right now. Thank you, Ramkumar. Yeah, this is the fantastic point about 75%. That's the reason that you have to have, most traders cannot, even though you see strategies presented to you that you can have 50-50, you can do 50-50 or 40-60, and you can still make money because you've got this nice risk reward. You've got a 2-to-1 risk reward or a 3-to-1 risk reward, so there's no problem as long as you're getting 2-to-1. You can do 50% and make money, and mathematically that's correct. You can mathematically can do it, but instituting that kind of a strategy, most traders cannot do that, because 50% loss rate on their trades is going to destroy their confidence in the trades, and they're not going to be able to trade consistently because they're going to get nervous because they're thinking about these 50% loss rate. That's why for most traders, you got to have a 75% win rate to maintain confidence in your trades. If you're trading 50%, unless you're you have to be a special kind of trader to be able to trade 50%, one win, one loss, and always be 2-to-1, a 1-to-2 win loss ratio. In other words, you win 2 for every one that you lose. It sounds great on paper, and it works out fine mathematically, but unfortunately, it doesn't work out well in your mentality. Mentality is going to make that extremely difficult to do. I mean, that's what a lot of the auto trading systems try to do, is basically build in a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 win rate, and they use their stops, so you're not actually not mentally involved in the trade. They don't remember the bad trades and have them impact them, but we do. IWM still climbing. SPY still climbing right up to the 15 EMA. Q's at right above the 15 EMA, right to the 8 right now on the Q's. And IWM has gone through everything. IWM is approaching the all-time high. $248.48 is the all-time high in the IWM. 248.48. About 12:39 here. I'm going to take lunch here in about 5 or 6 minutes as the market continues to move up. Again, I'm still in Pepsi as a doji sandwich setup. It's not really doing too much today. It's up a little bit, but it's just pretty flat here right now. It doesn't have it has relative weakness to the market. So, but I'm leaning on the doji sandwich construction of the candlesticks. Pretty strong market here right now. SPY green now by about 0.2%. Q's still slightly red, but barely 0.07%. Again, the IWM is very strong. IWM up by almost a full percent right now. GLW Corning, I positioned Corning as green for the day now. And ABBV just kind of lagging today, down 0.5%. Market's still rallying. Again, be careful here with FOMO. You're going to start feeling like you're missing out on a big rally here where I should be diving in here. Just be careful. Um, Again, if we look at the SPY, keep an eye on the daily charts. If we look at the SPY, it's right here. It's running right into the 8 and 15. Triple Qs ran right into the 8 right there. IWM has gone through everything. IWM is, maybe the SPY and Qs will do the same thing. Who knows? This is a big, big move in the IWM here today. And if you want to take any of these trades, please wait for a pullback. Hey Joe, with an 80% win rate, why do we hold trades that go against us 50%? Like ABBV, in other words, how many of the big losses come back to be winners? A lot of them. It all depends on the technicals. The technicals are what we're trading here, right? We're not trading the profitability on the trade or how much we're up or how much we're down. We're trading where the stock is relative to the price action on the daily chart. That's all we're doing, all right? So you're thinking if the trade goes against us that we should cut them all, or we should cut them. In other words, if an 80% win rate, how many of those 80% do you think were red at some point in time during their life? A lot of them. A lot of them were red during their life. So if you start cutting trades that have gone against you, then your win rate's not going to be 80% anymore. I mean, you're gonna have a bunch more smaller losers, but your win rate's going to be lower, and you're going to be giving up on trades that would end up making money for you. That's the whole problem here with cutting at a particular percentage loss. You've got to you're getting in on a technical setup. You've got to get out of the technical setup, in my opinion. I mean, if that's why I don't set loss targets at 50% of what I paid or a certain amount of dollars, because it's completely arbitrary. What isn't arbitrary is the technicals on them. So again, I've doing this a long time, and I'll tell you that if you start cutting trades because they go against you, you're going to be cutting off a whole bunch of winning trades. You're going to have smaller losses, and you're going to eliminate some of those big, huge losses, but you're also going to eliminate a whole bunch of good wins. I hear you, Doug. Yeah, when you're not taking all the trades, it's kind of a crapshoot because even with an 80% win rate, if I put out 10 trades and you take 4, you don't know if you're gonna have some losers in there. So again, I have to base it on all the trades that I take. That's how I have to base this thing. That's all I can do. I can't because I don't know who's taking what trades. I just know what I'm taking and what I post. I mean, listen, I've heard a lot of this stuff over the years from people that trade, and I get people that come into the room. They take 2 or 3 losses in a month. They may be up money, they may be down money, and they say, well, this doesn't work. And again, that's the typical trader. I mean, they come in. I need to have winners. I get a couple winners, and I get a loser or 2. I'm done. I'm going to look for something else. So they never end up finding a strategy that actually works for them and sticking with it because they're looking for a strategy that's not going to have any losses or very few losses, and there isn't any. Let me give you a hint. There is no perfect strategy or perfect setups or perfect anything in the market. If the market is the market, you've got a lot of dynamics into it. You got a lot of news involved with it. A lot of things you have no control over. All we can do is trade the things that we can use. Institutions are in there, then they get out. They're in, they're out. We've got to be able to identify that, and we've got to be better than other retail traders, which we are a lot better than other retail traders. But I mean, I've heard these things for years. I get people coming and I had somebody made $3,500 one month, and then we had 2 or 3 losing trades the next month. It was only halfway through the month, and he said, "Oh, this doesn't work. I'm done." He's done, He was made 3 or 4 thousand the first month. Now he's done. Now he's going to go look for something else. You know, that's human nature. I can't do anything about that kind of attitude that people have. Yeah, and William points out a good point. I mean, you can if you journal your trades, I use what's called a walkaway analysis, and you look at a trade that you took off, winning and losing, but you take off specifically if you look at trades that you took off because they were losers, and then to look what they would have done over the next multiple days or multiple weeks, depending on how long you're in there for, and that's going to give you an indication of how why we do what we do. I mean that's why I do this the way I do this, because I've cut enough losing trades in my past because I was down money. I wasn't watching the technicals. I was down money. I couldn't take the heat anymore, so I got out, and I look at it 3 days later, and I would have been up money on the trade. Believe me, it happens a lot. But you're going to remember. Listen, you're going to remember the big losses, as Ram Kumar did a little while ago, right? We're talking about the loss we had in that one trade. You remember those kind of things. And then you're thinking, well, I should be cutting these losses, not understanding that when you cut your losses, you're going to cut your overall profitability over time by doing that. Just stay in based on the technicals. And swing trades this market has been difficult for swing trades because of news. News makes it really, really difficult. So I'm trying to keep them, at a minimum, with high probability trade setups. July we had a huge month. August was decent. September we struggled. We did make money, but it was a struggle. This is a tough market, and these news blurbs that are sending the market down, 1.5–2% on news are really tough because they kill your trades, especially when you're in options. If they're very close to your expiration date, they destroy the trade. And it's not. Listen, the news can work both ways. So, we were in Nike back in April when they put the tariffs on. We were short Nike. Nike plummeted on the tariff news, and we were up 216% on Nike. So it works both ways, but you don't remember the winners. You remember the big losers. It's just human nature. Again, if you're in a trade and you're nervous about it, make sure you go to the daily chart. Look at the daily chart. Daily chart is what we're trading off of for swing trades, not for intraday trades. If you're trading the SPY on a 5-minute, you're waiting for it to pull back and bounce. You're hopefully not chasing it up here, because this is where FOMO comes in, right? Oh, I missed it. I got to get in. If you get in up here, there's a decent chance it's going to reverse on you and come back down to the support levels. If it doesn't, you just miss the trade. It's simple as that. Because you're taking too much risk when you take it up here, because where are you going to put the stop on? Down here at the 15? That's a long way away. I suppose you could put it in here at the previous close if you want to just scalp the thing. But that's one way to do it. Is open bouncing here, by the way. This thing has been bearish lately. It's starting to bounce today. Came off a pretty deep low open. Bradley, you bought Irene at 67.80. We're going to try to sell it at the all-time high. It looks like around 70.05, I think. Is that correct? Yeah. I don't be too hot, too rushed to take it off at 70.05. This is a really nice setup in Irene. All right, this is really a nice setup, and it's moving up here nicely today off the 8. So this is your all-time high right here. But give it a little time. See if it goes through there. If it stops there and reverses, that's fine. But it might go right through it. So if you've got shares, maybe sell some at that level, which is 70.05, and hold some. Hey Toby, when you play sports, remember the losing games, then the wins. You could win 10 champs and lose one. You remember that? That's right. You have that. That's your mind. It's the amygdala of your mind. And that's in your brain. That's what it does. It remembers the losses. I mean, it's. I mean, I played poker, and I know I put away the fact that when I had pocket aces against somebody else with pocket kings, and I took his whole stack, But I remember the ones when I had pocket kings and somebody else had pocket aces, and they took away my whole stack. You remember those things. That's just the way your mind works. It's the same thing with trading. You remember the bad trades, not bad trades, but the losing trades. The big losing trades you remember, and they have an impact on your trading mentality. $70.05 Bradley, yeah, that's what I saw on that one. It's a nice setup, though. Beautiful setup on Irene. Market internals is still very, very bullish. Market as well, of course. Let's see the market here. SPY green now by almost 0.3%. All right, let me check for questions before I get something to eat here. I'm gonna have to shut down the YouTube feed so I can grab some lunch. Listen, thanks everybody on YouTube for being here today. I appreciate it. Appreciate the questions and the comments, and we'll be back here tomorrow about 11:30, and we'll do it all again. See if we can get a day without so much tariff news. Tariff news smacked the market down this morning hard. Market has recovered dramatically here today, and all the indexes. I think even the Qs are up now. Let me look. Triple Qs. Nope, it's still slightly red, but moving up nicely. But again, don't chase these things. Wait, please. This is where FOMO sets in right here. Market's going up. I'm missing out. I got to get in. I got to make some money. I'm losing money. No, you're not. You're keeping the money in your pocket. You're avoiding losses is what you're doing. All right, YouTube folks, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks very much for being here today. I appreciate it, and we'll see you tomorrow.